Hello, YouTube. Today we are going over Kiss from a Moze, our Roisen Thorns Moze build. And with this, there was a lot of testing that went into the comms, so we'll go over that in a little bit. Now, because we are mainly using Roisen Thorns, there is one exception to that. I do use the Plague Bearer just for instances in Fight for Your Life, whenever the Roisen Thorns might need a little bit more damage. So the Plague Bearer will give us a little bit more damage to get back in from Fight for Your Life. So with the Roisen Thorns, there's quite a few different anointments that work there. Kill Stack works really well. The action skill and corrosive damage does great. The consecutive hits does really great. Action skill and splash damage does great. Auto bear active incendiary damage does wonderful. So really, whatever your particular anointment playstyle is, you're going to be able to do great damage with this, just because of how crazy Moze is with fire and splash damages. So that's kind of the Roisen Thorns part. As far as the shield goes, if you want to go corrosive Old God, you can go corrosive. If you want to go fire Old God, you can go fire Old God. I would really particularly advise going the fire Old God, just because the fire damage on the Roisen Thorns combined with the fire damage boosts and whatnot from the Moze skill tree just gives you a great overall arcing damage for your skills and the way that everything interacts with each other for the damage formula. As far as grenades go, the main thing you want on there is the on grenade throw or the OGT anoint for the extra 25% damage anytime you throw a grenade, and that's going to be for your weapon, for your action skill, for grenade, for everything. Personally, I really like using the recurring hex just because there's a lot of hits from the hex, and it just does a lot of things with the way that Moze's damage formula works. However, if you do have a preference towards your CMT or a Nagata, whatever your preference is, really you can insert whatever grenade you want there. The main thing is just going to be the on-grenade throw. I did have a lot of fun with the Fungus Among Us. I just found with my particular playstyle, personally, I was just downing myself in Fight for Your Life a lot more often just because of the explosion damage and radius on the Fungus Among Us. So I just found the Hex to be a little bit safer for my own personal playstyle. If you are a more laid back, safer, and not up in the enemy face aggro a player, you might have a lot of fun with the Fungus Among Us. I'd really advise giving that a try. On artifacts, you can kind of run whatever artifact you want. However, I found the most consistent and the best overall damage output was the Torg Company Man. Because we are using all of Torg weapons on this build, and of course mainly just the Roisen Thorns, that is the main advantage of this build. And we'll go over the skill tree advantage of why we're going only Torg here. The Torg Company Man just gave us the best overall consistent damage. Now, as far as class comms go, you can pretty much go whatever class comm you want. The Minesweeper does a lot of great things. The Flare is great. The Green Monster did some wonderful things. I just found that using the Rocketeer, because of how Auto Bear works with the Rocketeer and the skills that actually roll on the Rocketeer, I just found the Rocketeer is the best for my own personal playstyle. And if you haven't done a Rocketeer build before, basically whenever you jump out of Bear and you have Auto Bear skill tree, it will allow you to have Bear last for the entire duration of Iron Bear instead of just the little while that Auto Bear acts. So because of the things that you can do with incendiary damage and Moze's skill tree, you can basically have Auto Bear up anytime you want, and whenever you want to reallocate a specific area for Bear to be in, just hop in, reactivate your action skill, jump out and activate Auto Bear, and have it in that area. So that's kind of why I really liked Rocketeer for this particular setup. So with that, let's get into the skill tree. In Red Tree, we're picking up Security Bear for the damage reduction for Bear, 5 in Armored Infantry for the extra gun damage for Moze, and the damage reduction is pretty nice. 5 in Drowning in Brass for the extra gun damage, 1 in Experimental Munitions for the extra incendiary damage. And on Bear, we are using our Capacitive Armature. As always, just Capacitive Armature does some crazy things, especially when you're using Rocketeer and Auto Bear, because the AI for Auto Bear is really great at aiming and just picking up things. It does some pretty crazy fast clearing. In Green Tree, we pick up 5 in Cloud of Lead for the extra incendiary damage, 1 in Daka Bear so that Iron Bear has extra damage, 5 in Match Set, and this is where I was talking about only using Torg. So because we are only using Torg weapons, any thing that is a matching manufacturer gives us extra magazine size so that we are basically not really reloading our Roisen Thorns. The Roisen Thorns doesn't really, with the way that Moze already has natural ammo, bring back for things like redistribution and Stoke the Embers. With that just a little bit of magazine size, it basically means our Roisen Thorns really isn't ever being reloaded. We pick up 3 in Stoke the Embers for the incendiary damage, 1 in Redistribution for the ammo regeneration and health regeneration, 1 in Scrappy for the extra weapon damage, 5 in Scorching RPMs for the extra fire rate and critical hit damage, and 1 in Specialist Bear for Bear to do a little bit of damage. We pick up 3 in Big Surplus so that whenever we hop out and are active for our action skill cooldown while taking advantage of the Rocketeer comm, we get extra damage, 5 in Really Big Guns for the extra bear damage, and 2 in Biofuel to make sure that Auto Bear is lasting as long as possible. In Blue Tree, we pick up 5 in Fire in the Skag Skin for the extra incendiary damage whenever we deal splash damage, and because we're using Torg and Torg Cross Promotion, we are constantly dealing lots of splash damage, so we are always having extra incendiary damage. 1 in Deadlines, so that Auto Bear is draining a little bit less fuel and can have a longer survivability there. 3 in Means of Destruction, so that anytime we deal splash damage, we have a ammo chance back and a grenade chance back, so that we are getting ammo and grenade regeneration. 5 in Torg Cross Promotion, so that anytime we're dealing splash damage, it has a chance of being double gen sized, and we also deal increased splash damage itself. 5 in Stainless Steel Bear for the extra fuel and Iron Bear armor and damage. 3 in Put the Holy Pen so that our hexes can crit. 1 in Auto Bear so that we can take advantage of the Rocketeer and just have Bear out basically always. There's very few times you're going to have Bear fall down while using the Rocketeer. 1 in Vampire so that we can take advantage of the lifesteal on our grenades. 1 in To the Last so that we can throw our grenades and fight for your life. And 1 in Short Fuse. Because we are using guns, Short Fuse is just an easy pickup. Anytime we're dealing gun damage, there's a chance of a secondary explosion going off. Now, as always with my builds, I do like to point out that I do have all of the Guardian rank perks, so if you don't have things like Hollow Point or Groundbreaker, you are going to see a difference in your damage, just because when those go off, they do some pretty crazy damage. And with that, guys, let's get into the mobbing and bossing for this build, so we can have a showcase of what that looks like. See you on the other side. Alright, guys, that has been the build showcase. If you are on PC and would like to pick up a save file yourself and give this build a try, there will be a link to the Discord down below so that you can pick that up in the save file section. If you guys have any questions over anything for BL3 or want to see anything before Wonderlands comes out, let me know. I'd be more than happy to take a look. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. It really helps the channel out with pushing algorithm and pushing the content further, and allows more opportunities for me to bring more to you guys. With that, guys, I've been your local sassy SwinLaw. Stay classy, Pandora.